Hey friends, I have another great question for you today in our Ask Jane segment. Charlie says, my husband is obsessed with sex. Well, maybe that's not completely fair, but it feels like the truth to me. This is a second marriage for both of us, and I had a lot of desire for him when we were dating and for our first couple of years of marriage. But I've started going through menopause, and that has changed. I have hot flashes, and my body chemistry has changed. And now I have zero desire for sex, but he still wants it every day. We usually have sex about once or twice a week, so I don't feel like I'm withholding from him, but I just can't make myself want it. And I feel like I fake being asleep or making other excuses. My previous husband was just the opposite, and I was the one who wasn't satisfied. And now I'm really feeling like maybe I shouldn't have divorced him because if I had waited, now we would be on the same page. I'm scared of being divorced again, but I don't know what to do because we just don't want the same things. My husband says all he wants is for me to be happy, but I feel so much pressure about our sex life that I'm absolutely miserable. I would really appreciate some help. Charlie, thank you so much for your question. First of all, for all of you who are experiencing a low libido, it's important for you to understand that desire and attraction come from our thinking even when our bodies are changing. So if you want to, you can certainly look at what you're thinking that might be impacting your desire. But right now, Charlie, you're thinking of it as a chore or something that you have to do for him. And that's never fun. That's never going to be a turn on. But approaching sex from your own perspective, what's in it for you? How will you feel? And the pleasure you can still derive from it can be helpful. But let's take a look at your model. In your circumstance line up here, we have your husband, right? And well, actually, the situation between both of you. Husband says he wants sex 7 times a week, and you want zero. And then your thought is, we don't want the same things in our marriage. You feel scared. What do you do when you feel scared? You pull away, you resent him for wanting you, resent him for desiring you. Maybe you doubt your decision to marry him in the first place, doubt your decision to divorce your ex. You start thinking about your ex and start ruminating about how maybe that would have been a better situation, how the grass on that side of the fence would have been greener at this point. And then maybe you kind of hyper focus about this situation of sex in your relationship. Like if this isn't something that's working, then everything's falling apart. So when you have that thought that we just don't want the same things in our marriage, it's super painful. And it's what's causing this result for you that you don't even look for other common things that you want together in your marriage. You're not able to focus on anything else because you're so hyper focused on this one issue. So notice that the reason that you're feeling scared is because of this thought. We don't want the same things. We always have to look back at the thought. What's causing me to feel this way? So get really curious about what you're making the differences in your sexual desires mean. Like right now, you're making it mean that we should not be together, that we're not meant for each other. But what if that's not true at all? I really think that sometimes in society we get the wrong message that we should always be on the same page together when we're married. But what if it's fine that sometimes he's on this page and I'm on this page? It's totally fine. What if his libido's higher sometimes and sometimes mine is? Like that's called human beings. That's called having two people that share the same life together. And if we just allow our brains to spin out on that one topic, our perspectives get skewed. What else do we love about each other? What other common goals do we have? You've got to force your brain to go there and just notice how focused your brain is right now on this one issue. I think maybe the contrast in our relationships is a good thing. It might even be the tool that helps us grow together. If we could learn how to communicate and love each other through this very human issue that you're facing, what if you included him in all of that and talked to him about it? Can you gain greater intimacy when you communicate and you share all of that with your husband? Our brains like to have all or nothing thinking. They really like, okay, if this isn't working, then nothing's working. If we're not on the same page, then all is lost. But I want you to find the spot that's in the middle. What else can we make this situation mean? Can we find the blessing of this moment, the blessing of this challenge? And I would also like to point out too that the reason that you're feeling pressure is because you are trying to manage what's happening in his model. You're trying to manage his thoughts and his feelings. Be willing to really release all of that. When we are married, we let our partners have their own thoughts and feelings, and we don't try to manipulate or control that. Our job is to manipulate ourselves, control ourselves, and to show up and love our partner. Let them manage themselves. The only pressure that you have, that your experience, is because you're thinking the thought, I have to provide this for him. And that's just not true. So release that and show up and love him. And just realize too, like, of course he wants you. You're insanely attractive. How could he not want you? And you could allow yourself just to really enjoy being so wanted. You could really let yourself feel loved and desired, and that would be wonderful. But instead, you're choosing to be annoyed by it. So, hope that's helpful. If you want more help from me, sign up for a session with me. I am full for November. I do have a wait list for December if you are interested in working with me. Let's talk soon so I can get you on my list. Have a great day, friends.